Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, I want you to imagine something truly mind-bending. Picture a library so impossibly vast it contains every single book ever written. And, get this, every book that could ever be written. Your birth certificate is in there, sure, maybe. But so is, like, the cure for every disease and even the exact date and time of your death. But, and this is key, there are also billions upon billions of books just filled with total gibberish, false memories, lies so utterly convincing they could basically fracture reality itself. So we're taking that iconic literary concept, by Jorge Luis Borges, and diving headfirst into a pretty wild modern conspiracy theory. This theory claims the Library of Babel isn't just a philosophical thought experiment anymore. It claims it's real, it's hidden, and that maybe, just maybe, the powers controlling it are deciding what parts of reality we, the public, actually get to see.
Yeah, and for this deep dive, we've pulled together a really fascinating stack of sources. We're starting with the literary origins, naturally, but then we're moving into some really interesting technological interpretations, whispers from the deep web, and even these alleged leaked testimonies from supposed insiders. Our mission here really is to go beyond just, reporting these claims. We want to dig in, extract the most important nuggets of insight from this really intriguing and frankly, kind of unsettling concept. We want to try and understand what makes this whole idea so compelling to people.
Okay, right. Let's unpack this then, because this modern conspiracy, it really has two distinct starting points that kind of weave together. First, obviously, there's the literary origin. That's Jorge Luis Borges' 1941 short story, The Library of Babel. You probably know it. He imagined this incredible fictional universe, just endless hexagonal rooms, each one packed with books holding every possible combination of letters. It's this mind-boggling idea. A mathematical infinity of human knowledge, but it's buried among an even more infinite amount of just utter nonsense.
And what's so striking, I think, is how that purely literary, philosophical idea kind of morphed into a digital reality, or at least a simulation of one. So the other starting point for the conspiracy theorist is the real website, libraryofbabel.info. Now, its creator calls it just an art project, right?
Yeah.
A digital playground based on Borges' idea, where you can actually, find any page of text if you search long enough. But of course, for the people who believe this theory, it's much, much more than just some art project online.
Exactly. It's like that website is just the tip of the iceberg for them. And then the theory takes an even, deeper dive, you could say. In those deep web circles, there's this really strong belief that the online Library of Babel, that's just a public facade, like a kind of sandbox, maybe, for the uninitiated. The real, full, unrestricted archive, that's believed to be kept completely offline, hidden away.
Right. And you're picturing, dusty old librarians shushing people. You need to adjust that image. The theory posits these guardians of the real library as data wardens. Think intelligence operatives, maybe corporate agents. They're supposedly serving governments, powerful corporations, and perhaps even something far older, something pre-civilization. Which immediately raises a pretty important question, doesn't it? If this thing truly holds the blueprint of reality, who exactly would you trust with that kind of power?
That is chilling, yeah. It immediately makes you wonder, who are these data wardens? Where did they, or this library itself, even come from? Because the claims get even wilder from here. Some theories posit its origins as incredibly ancient, possibly predating humanity altogether. Maybe, they suggest, it's a construct of an alien intelligence, or even some kind of higher dimensional being.
And the theory doesn't stop at just one form either. It gets more complex. It claims the library exists in multiple forms simultaneously. Believers think it's both a physical archive hidden somewhere super remote on Earth, or maybe even beneath the Earth, and also a digital shadow network, accessible only to a select few, the initiated. It's almost like a cosmic hard drive that has both a physical server room somewhere secret and a dark web interface.
So, okay, if we're talking about a real Library of Babel, a physical one, or this shadow network, what exactly is supposed to be on its shelves? Or in its databanks? Because it sounds like it's far more than just books about the past. Believers claim it holds nothing less than reality's entire blueprint. Every text, every image, every formula, every single secret imaginable, including things from the future. Like, imagine a file existing for events that haven't even unfolded yet in our timeline.
And if it truly holds reality's blueprint, then the role of these so-called gatekeepers becomes absolutely critical, right? They are believed to be the ones deciding what information gets out, what escapes the library. Maybe, charitably, it's to protect civilization from descending into chaos with too much dangerous knowledge all at once. Or, on the darker side, maybe it's purely about control, maintaining dominance by hoarding the ultimate source of information.
And then there's the most extreme claim. which is that human history itself isn't fixed, that it's actually being rewritten, maybe constantly, in real time, with the library serving as the master copy, the source code. The theory suggests that whenever governments or powerful groups seem to change history, that, revising official narratives, declassifying certain documents while burying others, suppressing truths, they're not just spinning things, they might be literally swapping out pages, replacing one version of events with another within this vast cosmic archive. It really taps into that deep-seated fear about how malleable truth and memory can be. So if this physical library or these archives actually exist, where are they supposed to be? According to these anonymous, obviously unverifiable insiders and what they call leaked testimonies, it's not just one single place. That would be too simple, maybe too vulnerable. They talk about scattered nodes, like a subterranean vault deep beneath Vatican City, which, immediately conjures images of ancient secrets, right? Then there's talk of a chamber carved deep into Antarctic ice, only reachable by military escort. Very remote. And finally, abandoned Cold War bunkers out in Siberia, places where the air supposedly smells of mold and dust, but the shelves hold these volumes bound in completely unfamiliar materials.
And the really fascinating part, for me, is how these incredibly dispersed nodes are supposedly connected. It's not like, fiber optics. It's supposedly via something they call an index key, a codex, a kind of master key. So strange it apparently resembles neither human language nor any machine code we understand. Which suggests, a form of information retrieval so fundamental, it sort of bypasses all our current digital paradigms. Imagine a universal Rosetta Stone, but not just for translating languages, but for literally pulling a specific piece of reality's fabric into existence, into manifestation. The idea is you can sort of query the library, almost like a search engine, but it responds with a physical book, or the equivalent, not just text on a screen.
Wow. And conspiracy researchers, they take this even further, don't they? Claiming these nodes are more than just libraries. They're actually temples. That the physical layout, the acoustics, even the specific geometry of the shelves might be part of some ancient system, not just for storing data, but for storing profound meaning. Almost like a kind of sacred architecture designed specifically to channel or resonate with information itself. Okay, but here's the logical hurdle, the thing that always stalks me. If the library truly contains everything possible, then 99.9999% of it has to be pure nonsense, right? Just random strings of letters, total gibberish filling up endless shelves. Couldn't you just ignore all that? Why would the nonsense part even matter?
But that's precisely where the brilliance, or maybe the terror of the theory lies, according to believers. They argue the sheer volume of that nonsense is the point. It's the camouflage. It's the weapon. Imagine you're searching for something specific, like the cure to cancer, but you don't have the right filter, the right key. You wouldn't just get the one real cure, assuming it's in there. You'd get millions, maybe billions, of false cures alongside it. And some of those false cures might look incredibly plausible, maybe even more convincing than the genuine solution. It's information overload completely weaponized.
Right. And that's where the conspiracy gets really dark, isn't it? The gatekeepers, they say, allegedly use this overwhelming chaos as a smokescreen. It's plausible deniability built into the system. They could bury actual world-changing solutions inside mountains and mountains of noise, ensuring that even if the truth is technically out there within the library, you'll almost certainly never find it. Not without their help, their key, their filter. It's a chilling sort of mirror to our own modern information age, really. Trying to find genuine truth amidst all the deliberate misinformation, or even just the accidental noise, it can feel almost impossible sometimes. Okay, now this next point, this is where things get truly mind-bending, even for this theory. One of the most intricate sub-theories suggests the library doesn't just contain everything possible in our reality. It supposedly contains everything that has ever been true, will be true, or even could be true in countless alternate timelines or parallel universes.
Yeah, and this raises some frankly terrifying questions, doesn't it? It messes with causality. Like, if you were somehow able to find the future date of a major disaster recorded in the library, are you simply seeing the future as it's already written? Or are you, by the very act of reading it, observing it, somehow creating it, logging it in? And the flip side, could you genuinely erase a historical event, maybe something horrific, by finding its entry and replacing it with a different one, altering the master copy? It suggests a level of power over cause and effect over the timeline itself. It's almost, well, godlike, unfathomable.
And this naturally leads to the belief among some theorists that World leaders, or maybe shadowy groups behind them, actually consult the library, that they use it to choose preferred outcomes, literally picking timelines like you'd pick books off a shelf. Major events like wars, elections, maybe even managing personal scandals. Could they be rewritten, subtly or not so subtly, by just replacing the right volume, the right entry in this cosmic database? It's like a global scale choose your own adventure, but the stakes are reality itself. Now, like all really persistent conspiracies, this one comes with its own set of proofs. Though, as you'd expect, each piece of evidence can usually be explained away by more mundane means. There's something called the Babel glitch. These are supposedly screenshots captured from the online library, the website, showing eerily accurate predictions of events appearing just before they happen in the real world. Then there's the story of the disappearing index. Apparently, a section of the website that once allowed you to search for specific names was abruptly removed. The site administrator claimed it was just too computationally expensive, server load. But theorists insist it was actually shut down because it was too dangerous, revealing too much. And finally, you get the coded references in pop culture, people finding supposed hints or allegories in certain movies, obscure sci-fi novels. They see these as breadcrumbs, deliberately scattered in fiction to provide plausible deniability if the truth ever got out.
Okay, so stepping back, if we entertain the idea just for a moment that this library is real, why hide it? What's the ultimate motive? The conspiracy narratives generally offer three competing answers, and each one is pretty unsettling in its own way. First, there's the idea of benevolent control. Maybe humanity just isn't ready for this kind of knowledge. Full public access could cause unimaginable chaos, maybe societal collapse, from all the false or dangerous information suddenly available. The gatekeepers are protecting us from ourselves. Then there's the more cynical take, malevolent control. Simple as that. Information is power, maybe the ultimate power, and it's being meticulously kept by the few to maintain their dominance over the masses. Standard power conspiracy stuff. And finally, there's the really out there one, the alien directive. This suggests humanity aren't the creators or even the primary users. We're just allowed access, maybe.
Yeah.
Operating under rules imposed by whoever or whatever actually built this thing, implying we're just part of some larger unknown cosmic experiment or database.
Right. And to make it even wilder, some believers go further and claim there has been actual recorded contact, though obviously unreleased, with non-human librarians.
Right.
Beings who actually curate sections of this infinite archive. The idea that we're not even the main audience here, that something else is managing the grand story of reality. Yeah, that's truly a lot to take in. But maybe the deepest fear, the absolute most chilling interpretation of this entire conspiracy complex, is that the library isn't just a passive archive, neutral storage. Instead, it might be actively shaping reality itself, not just reflecting it, but influencing it.
Yes, the really striking aspect here is this concept of a feedback loop. It's almost quantum, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is that every time someone reads from it, accesses information from it, they're not just passively consuming knowledge, they're actively feeding this loop, subtly amplifying what's already there, perhaps strengthening certain possibilities, influencing the very fabric of existence just by observing or interacting with the potentialities stored within.
So, think of it this way, maybe. A possibility that someone merely imagines gets encoded somehow within the library as a potential text. And then a possibility that's encoded that exists within the system becomes a stronger probability in our actual lived reality. So what does that mean for us living our lives?
Well, in that view, we're not just passive researchers looking through an archive or even characters in a fixed story.
Yeah.
We become co-authors. Unknowing co-authors, maybe in an infinitely branching book, constantly writing ourselves and our reality toward an ending we absolutely can't predict. Simply by existing, thinking, imagining, and interacting with the world as is presented to us may be influenced by what leaks from the library.
So now you, listening right now, you kind of face a choice, don't you? Do you just dismiss all of this as a really fascinating story? A compelling internet myth that cleverly blends Borges, mathematics, and a healthy dose of paranoia?
Or do you let yourself wonder, could it be possible that somewhere, perhaps in a locked government basement, or maybe buried deep in a forgotten Antarctic ice cave, there's a book? Your book, already written. A book containing your very first word, your absolute last breath, and every single moment, thought, and feeling in between.
Would you open it? If you could. And if you did, would you even believe what you read?
The Library of Babel, as Borges imagined it, and as this conspiracy envisions it, it's like a mirror. Infinite, flawless, utterly indifferent. It holds the potential for all truth, all lies, all the dreams and nightmares of every mind that could ever possibly exist. And if the conspiracy holds even a grain of truth, it means we're all just characters, really, waiting, perhaps unknowingly, for someone or something to turn the page.